Abram sticks to what is necessary in honoring this contract. You see, the reason the world did not know of the God of the Hebrews was primarily because he turned his back on them. Many people say, well, where did this God come from? All the people that these children are walking through the nations are like, who is this God? Well, because this God had went dark on these people. The God of the world turned his back on the world. He didn't destroy the world again. He turned his back. He went silent. He allowed those disembodied spirits that he disembodied to become prevalent and kings over nations for an extended amount of time. Between the time Babylon fell and the time that Abram and God created this covenant was an extended amount of time. Generations had come and gone. The generations that knew of the God of the house of Israel, the God of the world, the universe, had come and gone. Languages had been broken up. People had forgotten. They had gotten so enamored in honoring the gods that they were bound to that they had forgotten the whole storyline. So now God comes upon Abram and in increments shows Abram who he is. And what we're seeing with God and Abram is God incrementally showing himself to Abram. When Abram takes Isaac to be sacrificed, this was nothing new. These gods that these people were making idols and worshiping, making idols of and housing and worshiping, these gods required these types of sacrifices. These people were offering their children up to devils. Let's just be honest. They were offering their children up to devils. This was known. So when you see Abram going and offering Isaac up, you see God showing the people through Abram, showing Abram his differences. The differences that he has, but the differences between what God is establishing in the Hebraic house and what the gods of the earth, the lower level gods, need. And the only way God can show differences is through action. Friend, it's a tough road being chosen. It costs so much. It's the most terrifying thing you will ever experience. It's gotta be the most glorifying, meaningful experience of your life. And Abram is experiencing it. Abram didn't know if Isaac was going to be offered up or not, if he was going to have to slay his son. Didn't know. But Abram needed to show as much honor and reverence in his actions and his willingness to the God of Israel, of the Hebraic house, as he would show to these lesser gods that the God of the Hebraic house created. And then for him to be willing to do such, and then God saying, no, that's not what we do over here. This is not what we do. Chosen. What we will find in these chosen people is that God will distinguish these people to prove a point to the world. This is a small nation of people initially, that God would lead and do monumental things with amongst the entire world. This God would show miracles that the world had not ever seen. at that time. Surely the world prior to had seen many of these miracles, the flood. But because God had turned his back on the world at Babylon, this new world had not ever seen nor heard of such things. This is why it was so confusing. They couldn't understand, who is this God? Because he had went silent, underground, and allowed the lesser gods to have dominion. The gods that he created and put in place in his hierarchical system to have dominion. Just so that he could come back and take the least advantaged route with one man, create a contract, a promise that he knew that one man's descendants would not be able to adhere to. God knew these people would not be able to live up to the expectation that he set upon Abraham with this contract. But it would all work to the glory of God. Nothing's lost. These children will start from one man, showing the might and the ingenious nature of the Creator. He's saying, I can build all of this again with one. I'm going to show you who I am by my activity. And you're going to learn me through the activity of your life and the activity of those around you and those that have come before you. That is the only way you know me. I'm not a theoretical God. I'm a trial by error. I'm a trial by fire kind of guy. And these people will be led to know their God by activity in adhering to the laws of God. And the nations that he turned his back upon would be excluded from being able to benefit from the promises of this God, or even be included in this particular exclusive chosen house. God said, you are my treasure. I chose you. Verse 26 of Leviticus, chapter 21 of Leviticus, and ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. The whole world, God had turned his back upon them. But that one man, Abram, God made a commitment to and did a monumental thing. And this might that God would show amongst the nations in their faces would provoke the kings, the lesser gods, the gods that God created, to show up in some way. They would have to show up in some way. They would have to give some form of fight, because then if they didn't, it would show how weak they are in contending with their Creator. A lot of this contending that we see is saving face. It's a lot of saving face going on. You got masters of perception. You got people that have come out looking real strong and putting on these airs and fronts and all of these perceptions, and they go back home. They can't even sleep. It's all fake. It's a lie. Because your attention is so valuable. You are in a game where attention is king. Attention is the currency. They create money and all of these falsehoods to get your attention. These nations, these kings of these nations, know that they could not contend against the God of Israel. He destroyed the whole world, disembodied them. They are in the predicament they're in because of him. And then the next go round, they're going to be in a worse predicament. This time, God said, okay, I'm going to make you disembodied. You're just not going to have a body. And then the next time God comes, he's going to say, what else is he going to say? Chosen.